earliest places to get asylum hotels under the last government, and it's been an absolute disaster. We've had...
To you, Mr. Khan.
Morning.
I'm sure that people who are renting would fully support the idea of a rent freeze. The trouble is...
East London is dying. June 2026. Not from a bomb, not from a flood, but from a slow, deliberate hollowing out. Empty shop fronts multiplying week by week. Communities watching their local high streets rot, while across those same postcodes, properties are being handed over to asylum seekers under schemes that ordinary Londoners, the ones who were born here, raised families here, paid council tax for decades here, cannot access. This isn't a coincidence. This is a policy collision happening right now, in real time, on the streets of Hackney, Tower Hamlets, Newham, and nobody in City Hall wants to talk about it honestly, but we will. Let's go. Reason number 1, Britain's high streets are being wiped out, and the closures are accelerating, not slowing. In 2024 alone, over 13,000 UK shops closed their doors for the final time, according to the Centre for Retail Research. The Centre for Retail Research projected that number would rise again in 2025, potentially hitting 17,350 closures. That is 47 shops shutting every single day. Every single day. And 2026 has not brought relief. River Island has already confirmed shutting 27 stores in January 2026 alone, calling it a transformation strategy. Poundland, a store that working-class communities depend on, has closed 100 locations since restructuring began. Claire's, 154 UK stores, gone. Cancer Research, UK, 88 charity shops shutting by May. Lloyds Bank, Game, Russell and Bromley, Revolution Bars. The names just keep coming. 84% of all closures are hitting independent businesses, not the big chains with deep pockets. The corner shops, the family-run newsagents, the local chemists, the places that stitched communities together for generations. Gone, shuttered, windows boarded up. And this is the high street Britain's politicians said they would protect. This is what protecting it looks like. Reason number 2, East London is ground zero for both the retail collapse and the housing scheme. And that is not an accident. Hackney, one of the boroughs where the council itself has confirmed it expressed interest in a £500 million Home Office pilot scheme to house asylum seekers in newly built or refurbished council properties. The same Hackney where over 12,100 households are currently sitting on the social housing waiting list, with up to 500 new families joining that queue every single month. Read that again. 12,100 local families waiting. 500 more added every month, and the council's response is to raise its hand and say, yes, we want in on the asylum housing scheme. Hackney Council itself has admitted it is facing a serious housing crisis, and their solution to that crisis is to take part in a pilot designed to fill properties with people who arrived at the Channel by boat, not people who have lived in the borough for 20 years and are still waiting. Reason number 3, Sadiq Khan's refugee housing scheme committed £126 million of Londoners' money, while local people rot on waiting lists. Let's talk about the mayor directly, because this goes back further than the current government's asylum hotel scheme. In 2023, Sadiq Khan launched a £126 million refugee housing programme, committing funds to deliver up to 630 affordable homes in London, specifically for those arriving through Ukrainian and Afghan resettlement schemes. Now, £126 million, 630 homes, in a city where 336,366 London households were already on social housing waiting lists in 2024, a full 25% of England's entire national waiting list, despite London representing only 16% of the population. In some London boroughs, the average wait for a family home is up to 15 years. 15 years. A child born today to a family on that list will be sitting their GCSEs before their name gets called. And only about 5% of those on London's waiting list have any realistic chance of being rehoused at all, according to a City Hall inquiry. A City Hall inquiry. Khan's own organisation admits it. So where is the £126 million going? Not to the 336,000 London families waiting, officially to refugees. The ordinary Londoner queuing, scraping, hoping they can keep waiting. Reason number 4, the Home Office asylum housing scheme is now flooding East London councils, and they are volunteering for it. The current government's £500 million pilot scheme to move asylum seekers out of hotels and into council-built housing has attracted interest from around 200 local authorities across the country. Among the confirmed participants shortlisted, Hackney, East London. The pilots will see councils given funds to buy up properties or refurbish derelict buildings to house asylum seekers awaiting decisions. Properties would be leased to the Home Office at local housing allowance rates for a 10-year term. 10 years. A decade of housing that could have gone to the 12,100 Hackney families on the waiting list, diverted instead through a Home Office leasing arrangement for asylum claimants. And let's be clear about the numbers this scheme operates within. In the year to March 2025, the government spent £2.1 billion housing asylum seekers in hotels alone. At its peak, hotel accommodation was costing £175 per person per day. The scheme is meant to be the fix, but the fix still puts asylum housing at the front of the queue, ahead of British residents who have been waiting for years. Reason number 5. Queue jumping is not a conspiracy theory. It is happening, and it has been reported by name. A Times columnist reported in September 2025 the case of an unemployed East African asylum seeker whose family was flown to London, with the family going straight to the top of a council's waiting list, leapfrogging more than 2,000 local residents. 2,000 people, skipped over, overnight. The same report described housing department staff, young millennials, many of them unable to afford to live in the capital themselves, commuting for an hour each way, who had finally had enough. They are administering a system they cannot explain to the people asking them why they have been waiting a decade and still have nothing. At the end of March 2025, there were 1.34 million households on social housing waiting lists in England, the highest figure since 2014. At the same time, 20,560 social homes were lost in 2023 to 2024 through right-to-buy sales and demolitions. The country is losing homes faster than it builds them, and the homes it does build are being allocated first through political priority, not length of wait, not local connection, not decades of contributions. Reason number 6. The high street collapse and the housing crisis are two symptoms of the same disease, a city that no longer governs for the people who live in it. Think about what is happening on the same streets. The shop that closed last spring, the one that had been there since your parents were young, is now a dark window with a sign. The family 3 doors down has been on the housing list since 2017 and still has nothing. And down the road, properties are being refurbished with government money and leased to the Home Office, while London boroughs spend £5.5 million every single day on homelessness, a 31% increase in a single year. Over 69,000 London households are in temporary accommodation. 1 in every 21 children in the capital has no permanent home. Children sharing beds, eating, sleeping, doing homework in one room, in one of the wealthiest cities on the planet. Meanwhile, Sadiq Khan declares London a beacon of hope, a decade in office, 630 homes for refugees, £126 million committed, a borough of sanctuary declared in Hackney. All while at current building rates, it would take 21 years to clear England's existing social housing waiting list, and that is assuming nobody new joins the queue. So here is where Britain stands in June 2026. High streets are shutting at the rate of dozens per week. River Island, Poundland, Clares, hundreds of independents that will never come back. 13,000 shops closed in 2024, with projections of 17,000 or more in 2025. East London councils like Hackney, the same boroughs with 12,000 plus families on social housing waiting lists, are signing up to pilot schemes that prioritise asylum accommodation with government funding. Sadiq Khan's £126 million refugee housing programme delivered 630 homes for those arriving through resettlement schemes. 1.34 million households remain on waiting lists nationally, the worst figure in over a decade. 58% of asylum seekers in London were still being housed in hotels as of March 2026, the highest rate of any UK region. And one family in one borough jumped 2,000 people on the waiting list because the system decided their need was acute. Nobody is saying asylum seekers are evil. Nobody is saying the people in those rooms asked for any of this. But someone has to ask the question that the mayor, the Home Office and the council leaders will not answer directly. when 1.34 million British families are on a waiting list, when children are growing up in temporary accommodation, when an East London council says it has a serious housing crisis and then raises its hand for an asylum housing pilot. Who exactly is this city being governed for? The shops are closing, the lists are growing, the money keeps flowing, and ordinary Londoners are standing in the rubble of their high streets, wondering when somebody in power is going to look them in the eye and tell them the truth. Subscribe to British Front Media, because nobody else will.